and Rin get overwhelmed by Grammy's power. But then something surprising happens. They stand up again, looking like they're not as tired from the battle. It turns out this was all a test to make them better at fighting and to see how good Grammy was. Now they fight back, and it's Grammy who's having a tough time dealing with their new fighting moves. Rin has this lightning sword thing she used on Grammy. Muller is countering all of Grammy's attacks. And then Rin uses her science knowledge to make a big tornado explosion that really weakens Grammy. Muller finishes the job and hurts Grammy pretty badly. She gives up but warns them that she'll come back stronger after she gets better from her injuries. They are happy about their victory, but it doesn't last long. Kasim shows up and tells them to surrender. He says if they don't, he'll clap Taichi, who is hurt and unconscious. Now Taichi is the one in trouble. He feels frustrated because he promised to protect Rin and go back to their world together, but now he has to watch them become hostages of Kasim. It's really overwhelming, and he closes his eyes. In his dreamlike state, he sees a strange green light and hears the voice he's been hearing for days. It asks him if he wants power, and even though there might be consequences for giving the power to him sooner, Taichi still says yes. The voice introduces itself as Ariel, the spirit of the wind. Before Taichi wakes up, he sees the light turning into a lady silhouette. When Taichi wakes up, he surprises everyone, especially Kasim. He stands up and looks like he's not even hurt. The big creature charges at him, swatting him away, but he's not hurt. Kasim gets really desperate and tells the creature to attack again. But Taichi easily stops its attacks and makes it disappear using his wind power. Kasim and Grammy realize they're in big trouble and try to run away. But Taichi's borrowed power can only do so much, and he's super weak now. Even so, he manages to launch an attack that cuts off Kasim's arm before he collapses. Kasim and Grammy manage to escape, but Grammy seems excited about what's happening. After waking up at Lemia's house, Taichi learns that he was unconscious for a week because he used up all his magic in the fight. Rin and Muller had brought him there after he didn't wake up for 3 days. Lemia takes care of him and feeds him to help him recover. She tells him to thank Rin and Muller for taking care of him. Taichi and Lemia talk about what happened in the forest. Lemia figures out that the beast was so strong because of the orb, which is called the Crimson Pact, a really bad curse that makes things way more powerful. Taichi also mentions that he got help from a voice named Ariel, which surprises Lemia. She tells him they can now figure out what kind of sorcerer he is. Kasim reports to his boss, a mysterious figure named Laudra, about what happened during his mission. Despite the arm loss he suffered, Laudra is happy with the information Kasim gathered. Now, Laudra needs Grammy's help for Kasim's next mission. He marks Grammy with a spider-shaped tattoo on her hand to control her. Then, some girls came in to remind him that the festival was starting. Laudra then left an invitation on a pile of paper before leaving. Lemia explains to Taichi that he's a summoner, which means he can make pacts with specific spirits to gain access to even more powerful spells. This information confuses Taichi, but it helps him understand who Ariel is. After speaking with Almeda, he decides to look for Muller or Rin to let them know he's awake. On his way, he intervenes in a situation where 2 men are bothering a woman. The woman uses his arrival as an opportunity to pretend he was the person she was waiting for. Taichi scares off the men, but he realizes that the woman isn't actually in danger as she easily escaped from them. She introduces herself as Anastasia, the former assassin whom Taichi had captured in the slums earlier. She now works for the guild and is involved in the investigation into the thefts. Anastasia and Taichi head to a manor linked to the thefts, and they engage in a fight, defeating the inhabitants present. While searching for useful information, Taichi finds the invitation left behind by Laudra and Kasim. In the evening, Muller and Rin were walking in the market. They had just finished an important job. Muller could see that Rin was worried about Taichi, but Rin said Taichi would be okay, and they needed to focus on their task. While they were in the market, some people were arguing about prices going up. Muller and Rin felt like someone was following them. They tried to trick the person following them, but the person attacked them right away. This caused a big commotion in the market. As they were fighting the first attacker, they realized there were 3 more people helping the first one. So, it became 2 against 4. But then, out of nowhere, Grammy showed up with her invisibility cloak. Grammy knocked out Muller and took her away, saying she didn't like doing it, but her leader had ordered her to. Rin tried to follow Grammy, but the other 4 attackers stopped her. They had to make sure Grammy could escape with Muller, so they kept Rin from chasing Grammy. It was a tough situation for Rin. Meanwhile, Anastasia and Taichi found themselves in dark underground tunnels. The invitation stated that beneath the city of Aspire, there are lots of goblins imbued with the Crimson Pact. They knew they had to stop the goblins from reaching the city. Anastasia opened the door with a pin to make sure it wasn't trapped. Taichi then told her that when he had captured her, he had hoped she could live a normal life and was not happy that she was now working for the guild. But he still thanked her for helping, and she felt really touched. She told him to call her Anna, showing that they were becoming closer as friends. Meanwhile, Rin is still having a hard time with her situation. She got pretty annoyed and decided to use her special powers to defeat the people who were causing trouble for her. After that, she got a big surprise. Grammy showed up, and it turned out she wasn't there to fight Rin, at least not today. Grammy's boss had plans to use the Crimson Pact on Muller, and Grammy didn't agree with it. She thought of Rin and Muller as her prey and wanted to be the one to defeat them. Grammy gave Rin the exact location to go to, and they both shared a common goal. Rin didn't waste any time. She hurried to the tower where Muller was held captive. When she arrived, she saw Muller in the middle of a red circle, surrounded by mages who were planning to use her as a sacrifice. Rin acted quickly, using her powers to immobilize the mages and stop the ritual. She rescued Muller just in time. However, their relief was short-lived. Laudra and Kasim suddenly appeared. Laudra had anticipated that Grammy would provide the location. He didn't want to fight and was only there to deliver a grim message. He told them that an army of 3,000 monsters with the Crimson Pact was about to invade the city, destroying everything in their path. To make matters worse, Taichi was somewhere else and had no idea about the impending danger. Truly, the information they had found in the mansion had indeed been a trap. Anastasia reached a door and accidentally stepped into a red magic circle that summons a powerful golem. Their situation had become even more dire. Kasim appeared uneasy with his boss's decision to attack the city both from within and without. However, Laudra remained resolute, insisting that these were sacrifices they had to make to accomplish their main mission. Meanwhile, Taichi and Anastasia faced the powerful golem that had nearly taken her life. Taichi intervened just in time and used his powers to defeat the golem. What surprised them was that this golem had no core, which was very unusual because all golems typically had one. Suddenly, the voice of a girl echoed in the room, and another door opened, revealing a chamber filled with goblin eggs. Two young twin girls happily called it Milo and Milo's room. Meanwhile, Muller and Rin wasted no time and informed Gerard about the impending attack. Gerard immediately called a meeting of all adventurers and guards in Aspire. He was deeply concerned because the city's resources were scarce, making it impossible to withstand a siege. This dire situation resulted from the monsters' well-planned attacks on the caravans. Although Gerard hoped Taichi would be with them, Muller and Rin assure him that they, along with the guild adventurers, would do their best to protect the city. Lemia joined their discussion, revealing that she had sensed a strong magical power and decided to head to the city, fearing the worst. She offered to stand in for Taichi in his absence, further solidifying their resolve to defend Aspire. Taichi is with the two girls who proudly told him they made the special room and the big golem, meaning they are earth mages. They were there to free the goblins who had been given orders to do bad things to women and eat kids and men. Taichi tried to convince them to stop because it would affect them too, but the girls showed him a shiny orb they'd use to control the goblins. Without waiting, the girls woke up the goblins, and the goblins were super strong thanks to the Crimson Pact. Taichi has to fight them, and he tells Anastasia to stay safe while he handles the goblins. Taichi beats the goblins, but he doesn't use all his power because he doesn't want to break the room they are in. But no matter how many goblins Taichi beat, the girls just kept waking up more. They thought the goblins wouldn't hurt them because they had the orb. But the goblins tried to attack the girls, and oops, they broke the orb. Taichi had to protect the girls now. He asked them how many goblins were out there, but they couldn't say because the goblins were all over the city. Taichi put the girls with Anastasia, and they all had to defend themselves from the goblins together. Taichi had a big job to protect those three girls, no matter what. Back at the guild, everyone, including the guards, are worried about their tough situation. An external guard brought news that the northern stronghold had fallen to the monsters. Now, their guild and guard team had only 180 members, while they were up against a massive horde of 3,000 monsters. Things got even trickier because Lemia needed to use her tactical magic to take out the monsters at the front. But it would use up half of her magical power. But then, Rin had an idea. She remembered something from her old world and suggested using earth, water, and fire magic together to make a big explosion. Even though the others didn't understand the science behind it, they trusted Rin. Everyone got ready at the city's entrance, waiting for the monsters' arrival. Rin started her plan, and it worked really well against the first row of monsters. It made everyone amazed, even though it made Rin a bit tired. But she was determined to keep fighting. They all attacked the second row of monsters, and Lemia helps a lot by getting rid of most of them. Just when it seemed like they might win, a soldier told Gerard that another group of monsters was coming. These ones were crimson monsters and twice as strong. Right at that moment, Taichi showed up with Anastasia and the two girls, Milo and Milo. As Muller, Lemia, and Rin face the remaining monsters, the girls team up to protect Lemia while she prepares a massive attack. Their plan worked, and they defeated all the monsters, except for 3 big ones that were really tough. The girls decided to take on one each. Taichi, along with Milo and Milo, finally reached the battlefield. However, Rin was in a tough spot. She had used a lot of her magic, and she was too weak to fight her opponent. Her friends were busy dealing with the other big monsters, so they couldn't help her. Rin thought it might be the end for her and wished she could at least thank Taichi for everything he'd done. Just when Rin thought she was done for, Taichi showed up and saved her from the big monster. Muller rushed to Rin and gave her a big hug, feeling so relieved that she was safe. Taichi explains the underground battle to Lemia and asks her to take care of Muller and Rin while he goes after the ogre. He powers up to his full strength and lands a powerful hit on the ogre. Lemia noticed Milo and Milo and asked who they were. Taichi tells her they were talented earth mages on their side. He tells them all to work together to defeat the remaining monsters while he gets ready to fight the last 2 ogres. While all this was happening, Laudra watched and was amazed by Taichi's power. But they had planned for this situation, ready to disrupt the festival soon enough. They were working for someone who had foreseen all these outcomes. At the guild's headquarters, a soldier arrives with news from the battlefield. Anastasia, who had stayed behind to help the wounded, overheard Gerard talking to the soldier. She is really worried about Taichi because he is the only one who has treated her like a person and not just a tool. He had saved her and given her a chance at a normal life, which she really wanted. But then, a hooded figure cast a spell on her and whispered something in her ear. Anastasia felt compelled to leave everything behind and walk toward the battlefield. The adventurers kept on fighting, using their weapons against the never-ending wave of crimson creatures that showed no sign of stopping. They fought with all their strength to protect the city. Taichi, with his power at 100%, managed to defeat each of the ogre leaders, but it drained a lot of his energy. He thought the major threats were gone and took a moment to relax, but that turned out to be a big mistake. The ground suddenly shook, and he had to jump up into the sky to avoid being pulled into a big hole that opened up. Sharp claws came out of the ground and destroyed the ogres' bodies. Lemia gets really worried when she sees what is happening. Then, a 2-headed golden dragon emerged from the depths. This surprised Lemia and the others because these dragons usually lived in underground nests and didn't get involved in human fights. But now, they are intervening in their fights. Rin noticed an unfamiliar woman on the battlefield, but she didn't pay too much attention to her. Taichi was just as confused by the dragon's presence. Lemia explains that for some reason, this dragon had woken up, even though human wars usually didn't bother them at all. Taichi knew he had to face this powerful dragon. He tells the others to go back to the city and get ready for evacuation in case things go bad. Rin leaves Milo and Milo with Muller, but Rin decides to stay with Taichi and help him in the battle. Taichi is glad to have his best friend by his side, but he tells Rin not to fight because he doesn't want to hurt her when he uses his full power. Taichi goes up to the dragon to fight it, hoping to use aerial power, but she doesn't answer. He has no choice but to fight with his current power. His first attack doesn't work against the dragon. Rin tries to help, but the dragon's other head stops her. She has to stay back. Even though Taichi is really fast, the dragon hurts him and makes him weak. But Taichi notices that the dragon isn't using its full power, which makes him wonder why such a strong creature woke up in the first place. Suddenly, Anastasia comes to where Taichi is. She didn't mean to interfere, but when Taichi scolds her for being there, she wakes up from her daze. Anastasia says she didn't plan to get involved. But then the dragon's other head gets ready to attack and shoots at them. Taichi is hurt and can't move fast enough to get out of the way, but Anastasia pushes him to safety and gets hit instead. She gets really hurt, and despite Taichi trying to help, Anastasia dies in his arms. Before she goes, she asks Taichi to be her friend and smiles because she's glad to have met someone as kind as him. Feeling desperate, angry, and sad, Taichi screams in pain. He's really upset because he couldn't protect Anastasia, even though he promised he wouldn't let her get hurt. He keeps asking for power, even though Ariel isn't responding. But he doesn't give up. He keeps trying until he finally gets her attention. Ariel finally shows up and offers to give him power because his strong feelings are like a command to her. Now, Taichi can see Ariel's real form, and she feels really sorry that she couldn't help him before. But there's a rule that spirits can't use their power without orders from the summoner, and Taichi is the summoner. They hadn't made a formal agreement before, but she made an exception the first time when Taichi was in danger, and Ariel helped him then. Taichi realizes he's been scared to use his true power, but now he knows he needs it to protect everyone, especially the people he cares about. So, he decides to make a pact with Ariel. They make the pact official by meeting two conditions. Taichi has to tell Ariel to give him power, and he has to be ready to accept it. Taichi leaves Anastasia in Rin's care, and now he's full of new power and ready to face the dragons once more. The dragons are impressed by his strength and determination. When Taichi asks why they're here and what he needs to do for them to leave, they say they'll answer his questions if he shows them his true power. Taichi agrees, and the dragons get serious. Both dragon heads attack Taichi with all their might, but Taichi, using his amazing power, not only defends himself but also hits the dragons back. The dragons seem happy with how things turned out. They tell him more, saying they were sent by someone who wanted to make Taichi use his power. Before they go, the dragons give Taichi a warning. They say this person will guide him, so he has to get even stronger. They explained that what happened today was important for their world, and then they left. Wadra goes back to talk to a woman seated behind a veil. It turns out that Taichi passed the test they had set up for him. Now, all that's left is to keep guiding him. Some time passed since the monster invasion and the big fight. Aspire slowly got back to normal. There weren't any more monster attacks on the goods carriages, and prices went back to normal too. This was a small comfort for all the people who had lost someone during the attack to show they didn't fight in vain. Taichi often went to visit Anastasia's grave. He'd leave flowers and talk to her a bit. Back at Lemia's house, Taichi summons Ariel to show his powers to his friends. They were having a nice conversation when they saw a royal carriage coming their way. It turned out to be a messenger from King Gilmer named Elsina. She says the king wanted them to come to the capital, Wenifix, because they needed their help. Since the king had called them, they didn't really have a choice but to go. They all got in the royal carriage, and on the way, they learned about the problem happening in the palace. For the past 30 years, the magical kingdom of Elistane had been run by two factions. One group supported King Gilmer, and the other group supported his younger brother, Duke Dordesheim. King Gilmer got his power legally and has been talking with other countries, working together with them to build relationships. So, the king lent out their magicians to other nations, but his younger brother didn't like that. The Duke was more old-fashioned and didn't want to share their magic knowledge or work with other countries. He thought it would make Elistane weaker. The Duke decided to rebel, and that will lead to a big war soon. So, King Gilmer asked Taichi and his friends for help. When they finally got to the capital city, Wenifix, they were surprised. It was really different from Aspire. It looked really fancy, but there were hardly any people around. The few people they did see ran inside their houses as soon as they saw them. Lemia was acting suspiciously and asked Elsina questions about the king's reason for wanting to meet Rin and Taichi. But Elsina just said it's nothing and the king just wanted to see both of them. She seemed nervous, and then suddenly, an arrow came at them out of nowhere. But because they were really alert, they dodged it and saved Elsina too. The soldier who's supposed to get rid of the group tells his boss, Duke Dordesheim, that they didn't succeed. The group, along with Elsina, gets to the castle. When they go into the royal hall, they see that the officials there are giving them mean looks. Elsina introduces them to Bella, who's the top magic person for the king, and General Sumela, who's in charge of the king's army. Charlotte, the king's daughter, is there too. Finally, the king comes in, and everyone is being really polite and respectful, except for Lemia. Lemia wants the king to be clear and not beat around the bush. This surprises everyone in the room because she's being so bold. The king tells Sumela and Bella to take the group out of the room. It seems like the king and Lemia know each other, so they don't have to be all formal. Lemia plans to help the king if he agrees to some things she wants. The king says yes, and he tells Elsina to handle the rest. But before she leaves, Lemia wants the king to tell the truth about why he summoned Taichi and Rin. He says he did it because he needed their super strong power to stop the rebellion, and he says he's sorry. Taichi is really not happy with the king. He thinks it's selfish of the king to bring them from their peaceful world where there were no wars or clappings and make them fight for him. But at this point, there's not much they can do, and the king says he'll take all the blame. The group is taken to their rooms where they'll stay. Rin is in Taichi's room, and they're talking about how they feel about the king. Then, Elsina comes to their door and says someone wants to talk to them. It turns out to be Princess Charlotte. She says she's really sorry and that she's the one who summoned them to this world. She explains everything, firstly telling them that she can do magic with time and space. She feels really bad for dropping them in a place with monsters and taking a while to find them. Elsina tries to say it was the king's idea, but the princess says that even though she had doubts, she wanted to protect their people and their country just like her father and so accepted to summon them. Princess Charlotte explains that originally, only Taichi was supposed to be brought to this world. But her father's brother sent an assassin who messed up the spell, and that's how Rin got brought here too. They ask if there's a way to go back home, but Charlotte says it's not possible, at least not for her. The spell can only be used once in a lifetime, and magicians who can do summoning like Taichi are super rare, maybe like 1 in a million. But Charlotte promises that after they deal with the rebellion and things settle down in the kingdom, she'll find a way to send them back to their world. Taichi and Rin aren't mad about it, probably because she's a cute girl and not an old man, and they trust that she'll keep her word. They've made friends since they got here, and they know she cares about her people, so they want to help end the fighting and go back home when everything is okay. Their talk ends when Lemia tells Taichi to meet her outside. Sumela sets up a fight with Taichi to see how strong he really is. She doesn't hold back and attacks him right away. Lemia suggested the fight because Sumela's soldiers don't trust them, thinking they can't fight. So, Sumela, who's known as the strongest in the realm of physical fighting, goes all out to test Taichi. Taichi wants to call Ariel for help, but he doesn't. Instead, he starts getting used to the fight and manages to keep up with Sumela, which surprises everyone. He even beats her and she gives up. She says sorry for the test and then says something really weird. She asks Taichi to marry her, or if he already has a wife, she says she could be his second wife. Taichi is surprised and nervous, especially when she talks about having 3 kids. But he immediately says no. Later in the evening, Taichi is all alone, so he summons Ariel to show her the pretty views of the kingdom.
Free audio post-production
by alphonic.com